Hello everyone, and welcome back to Danganronpa New World Order, or Dangan Fanfic New World Order. I know I keep changing like how I call it, but this game gets very confusing, with its title at least. So where we last left off, we found the first person died, and ooh, it was Magnus, the ultimate navigator, and gotta be perfectly real here, did not expect him to, it's not that I expected Magnus to, like, honestly live to the end. I knew he'd probably die at one point, like, in my, like, little predictions thing. Did not expect him to go first, though. However, I really don't have much of a clue who could possibly be the killer. I'm thinking it might be Natalia, but at the same time, I'm not too sure. I don't think it is her, but at the same time, she's acting a bit suspicious. But anyway, let's waste no time and get right into it, because this is the class trial time, baby. If it will let me go in. There you go. Took a bit. Silence. Silence. And even more silence still. Occasionally, I'd become dimly aware of the whirring sound of the elevator as we plunged deeper and deeper into the bowels of the school. Our prison. When we stepped in, it was as if the reality of our situation had dawned on us all over again. And now nobody dared to even speak. All it would take is one mistake, one successful misdirection, and everything that has happened until now would have been for naught. No sooner had I thought that, a whirring sound snapped me out of my solemn reverie. The doors swung open and we obediently stepped out. Whoa.
Welcome to Judge Mon Akuma's specially designed courtroom. Please make yourselves at home. Come on, people! What happened to all that pep you had from before?
Come on, Dash. Hey, Dash. Now's not the time to go AFK. We all need to be there for the next team fight. Just kidding. Only I need to be there. But you get what I mean. So this is what it has come to. We've fallen so low that Zeke has become the voice of motivation. Well, I was more than happy to speak. But it hardly seems prudent given the circumstances. Why exactly wasn't it prudent? What I plan to say, of course, there's a time and place for everything, including the things that are more candid. Yes. So, is everyone prepared for the trial? That is, none of us need to go to the bathroom? I just went. Just went before I started this. She glanced briefly at Miyu. Oh, or dispose of any excess oil? Oh, this is different. Oh, yeah, it's different. Oh, yeah. Scanning. It is most kind of you to consider my needs, Grace. But you have my assurances. I can take care of myself this trial. Grace, my dear, are you quite alright? Why are you... Oops, I did it again. Why are you asking? If I didn't know any better, I presume that this place reminds you of somewhere else. Somewhere even less pleasant. Ooh. That's enough, ladies and gentlemen. We have more pressing matters to deal with right now. My shoelaces appear to be untied. He bent over, muttering something about an arch nemesis. Yep, we're doomed. But at least most of us are talking again. A definite sign of progress, wouldn't you agree? Mona I can understand, but Natalia? So I wasn't just imagining things during the investigation. See, this is the thing. She seems suspicious, but maybe, like... I don't know. She's definitely acting out of character. I wonder if she knows more than she's letting on. Ahem! Mon Akuma, when did you arrive on the scene?
I never left! Damn, I'm really not used to being ignored. Perhaps I need a little more presence?
I think I prefer the previous model.
Whether I can change is completely up to you. Make sure you behave like good little world candidates, and I think you'll find the trial to be a breeze. Well, chop chop, daylight's burning. Nothing you can tell down here. Ooh. Whenever you're ready, make sure to stand behind the podium with your name on it. Come on, don't be shy.
With a slight shuffle of activity, everyone obliged. I don't really know what to expect from this. Even now, I can hardly believe what had just happened. Magnus is dead. No, not just dead. Murdered. And his killer. Is someone standing in this very room? No. I cannot believe it. I refuse to believe it. Yet all I was faced with was this inescapable truth. So with only one way out, it was thus that this life and death trial, billowing with hope and despair, finally began. Right, let's see. Error. Oh, so I can't set skills. More gold is needed for this upgrade. Error. Wait, it said more gold is needed for this upgrade. Current economic outlook grim. E-handbags are not permissible in a school environment. Enable meeting difficulty? Once you control it, you cannot change your mind. Nah, continue on kind. But I can't look at the preparations or anything. Class trial in session. All rise. Ooh!
See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Oh, there's my health. Here we go, we're getting into this. Oh, I can actually look at the evidence now. Let me have a look at it then. Oh, nice! Nice, it's updated. Alright, and there's the floor plan too, the, you know who drew. Oh, Mona. Kilmore File 1. The victim died at exactly 11:59 AM from severe blunt force trauma to the back of the head. The corpse was found in the library. Okay, Leviticus testimony. As at 11 AM, none of the clocks have been tampered with. In the mansion, there is a fixed clock in the game room lounge, servants' quarters, a library, and dining hall. The area around the victim was in a state of disarray, with books having been thrown off their shelves. The Kilmore Bear file is the Mon Akuma file is accurate. Moreover, injuries on the front side of the victim's face indicates that after being struck, they may have collided with another surface. Due to the extensive nature of the head injury, this is the extent of the information that can be gleaned. A metal shot, likely used as the murder weapon in this case. Though still quite heavy, the shot is reasonably light relative to its size. Found draped on top of the victim's corpse in a possible symbolic gesture, the chain has been torn off. Eden's testimony. Since Magnus and I both have redundant trims, we decided to switch. Lack of a seance. For some reason, Eden was unable to produce a seance and there's no signal found, no matter how hard she tried. Alright. Found next to the head of the body, measures in over 5 centimeters in length. The tape shows no signs of being torn. An empty roll of tape found underneath the bookcase beside the victim's body. Locked at the time the body was discovered and forced open at 12:01 PM. It is impossible to lock the door from the outside. Zeke's testimony. I stayed in the game room from 11:30 onwards, warming myself in front of an open fire. That's when I killed Magnus. Just kidding. Alright. There are 2 vents in the library, with one located on either side of the room. Both are relatively small and were just big enough to appear to fit through. Clean at the time of the investigation. Mansion detail with the first. 12:01 AM, followed by Blaze and Natalia. 12 and 11 PM, Grace Dash, Phoenix, Florence, and Elisa. 12:16 PM, and Eden, Levetica, and Virginia. 12:23 PM. Everyone washed over as soon as they heard the body discovery announcement go off. A dusty broom found at the scene of the crime and a distinctive metal handle caked in blood. On the second floor, the entire section of the handrail overlooking the location of the body has been cleared of dust. The opposing side remains dusty and untouched. A bookcase stands directly under the handrail with low-hanging chandelier just in front. Located between the library and the game room with creaky floorboards and paper-thin walls, any noise made within could easily be heard from the outside of the mansion. The killer received 2 items from my arsenal of murderous goods. One of them was the shot football left in the library, and the other was a prototype, one of its kind of limited edition invention. Since every person is only entitled to ask for 2 items per murder, the killer is unable to ask for more items. After seeing the state of the library, Miyu insisted on tidying up the books. She did this by carrying the books back 2 at a time, 1 in each of her hands. Since I was not scheduled to search the mansion at any point of the day, I spent some time recalibrating my emotional discernment simulator underneath a tree on the north of the manor. I went straight here when I left the cafeteria and stayed until I had a commotion coming from the library. Okay, that should be done. That should be what we got. See, that wasn't so hard.
See, that wasn't so hard, was it? Pooh! Oh, how I've missed this feeling.
Idiot. Just get on with it, will you? I want to save, actually. I already did, sorry.
Pooh! You're feisty, I'll give you that. Let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. As you know, the Blackened is hiding among you. If you guys find him, then he alone will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the Blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this school.
Are my auditory processes malfunctioning? It sounded as if though you just identified the culprit as a male. Ah, I knew the culprit wouldn't be female. Call it a delightfully devilish hunch, if you will. With a little bit of personal experience thrown in. Personal experience?
Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! I did that on purpose, to test your keen sense of observation. Congratulations!
Really? It sounded more like you reused your voice clips from the last Killing Gate.
Why you? Are you accusing me of cost-cutting? I'll have you know that we're running on a very high budget. It's practically a blank check.
You're not fooling anyone with that diatribe, you know.
Okay, you win that round. Sheesh! But the war has only just begun. Pooh! So, do you guys plan on starting anytime soon? They don't have all day, you know. And yes, the killer could be male, female, or anything in between. Do you really think I'd narrow it down for you like that? I like you all, but not that much.
Ah, dread. It would have been nice to get a freebie on the side. Freebie. Hey guys, what should we talk about first? Ahem. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Gentor. Ladies and Gentor of the jury. Hey, stop sidetracking me! My sincerest apologies, comrade, it just slipped out. Anyway, I submit that we start by outlining the basic facts of the case. We can then see where we go from there. Well, I'll be. You're much more dependable than you seem, Pierce. Hey! What do you mean that I seem? I may have my moments, but I'm still the ultimate lawyer. If it pleases the court, that concludes my submissions. Submission. Oh, nice! We actually get to see Blaze. Cool. Allow me to lend my voice to Pierce's suggestion. Let's start by putting all the basic facts forward. It's a staple of teaching to ensure that my students understand everything after all. Oh, is that how you view us? Well, it's okay. A platonic relationship is the best relationship, comrade. Start the game already! Yes, let us proceed at once. I suppose we don't really have a choice, do we? Oh, here we go. Read the tutorial, non-subservient influence. Time for another episode of Narrator and Friends. It seems I've been promoted to the tutorial department. Lucky you, hey? In a class trial, there will be many different segments where arguments are presented and then Chandra affirmed. I'm just going to read this by myself. Lots of debate, flow of arguments, topics should be presented to the official Danganronpa games and or players who've read the original fanfic. Still haven't read the original fanfic. I want to, but I don't know how to. Argument threads that may be challenged appear as orange text, while affirmable arguments appear as blue. When you notice a statement of interest that you can combine with a truth bullet, make sure you click the statement itself. You will then be permitted to select supporting contradictory evidence. Okay, so we click it first, and then we pick the evidence. You'll not be able to see them in the heat of discussion, which is realism. So make sure you remember them. Another thing to be wary about, you will lose influence the moment you click on an incorrect statement. So ensure that you're absolutely certain of your choice beforehand. When your influence drops to 0, you will automatically lose. This try will start with 100 influence. And shock horror, the status bar on the top right of the screen displays your influence, this one. Try not to be too influenced by it. Now, depending on the context of the discussion, influence drain can be high or low. In most cases, an incorrect response will lose you 10 influence points. Unless you're playing in hard mode, and if you are, how delightfully masochistic of you. I'm not doing that. Note that successfully clearing a segment will marginally increase your influence. This is your only way of recovering lost influence during the trial. You know, other than dying like a complete amateur. Hearty laughter. Other than my undying respect, there are currently no rewards for finishing the class trial with high influence without dying. You will, however, get a grade. It's kind of a Danganronpa tradition to get a grade at the end of every class trial. However, the grade will be rather inaccurate if you were to, for example, load to cheat death. But you wouldn't do something so underhanded, would you? Sound easy so far? Great to hear. Well, I don't really care about the grade that much. We're so close to finishing. For the purpose of this visual novel, non-stop debates will generally pan out at least once before you're able to intervene. In other words, most of the time you will have to listen to everyone's arguments at least once before cycling through them again. Kind of like the cross-examinations in Phoenix Wright, I see. Very civil, am I right? Certainly be slicing and dicing your way through your opponent's words and repeating their arguments while you're barely letting them but it's like they're saying, I can't shoot down anything, but but I can't shoot down anything the first time the argument goes around. I just have to look for it before I do. Now, there's even more to the non-stop debate, of course, and many variants of patience, young grasshopper. They shall be revealed in turn. Now, before I leave, get this. There's rumours afoot of a shortcut to the backlog. Was it a mouse wheel up, right-click, something like that? I also thought I'd pass on a message from my superiors. Save the game and make multiple copies in case something goes wrong. Oh, please, as if there's anything wrong with... Well, aren't you glad you listened all the way to the end? Good luck and have fun. Non-stop debate, start! Truth bullets. Laying the foundations. Oh, here we go. Kill more file, shot put ball, and secret passage. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow members of the jury. It's time for us to start our submissions. We all know that Magnus was killed in the library. He died from blunt force trauma when he was struck in the back of the head. I like this so far. Severe blunt force trauma. I wonder what that means. Maybe he was hit extra hard? I see, so people were taking turns. Like a golf ball on a windy day. Okay. Please refrain from such detestable imagery. Very good sirs and ma'ams. And on top of that, Magnus died at some unspecified time between 11 and 12. No. Your Honor, that's what I've got to refute. Please add all that to the record. I see, that's what I've got to refute. We've only just started, but there's already a gaping contradiction. It's the Mon Akuma file, Killmore file 1. Time to hit the ground running and correct it for the benefit of everyone. Yeah, I've got to because it's what Dash said. He said some unspecified time between 12 and 11, but it said specifically 11:59, 1 minute till 12. Okay, so now I can refute this, but no, he was killed in the library. Died from blunt force trauma when he was stuck in the back of the head. Alright, am I gonna wait for a bit? What? What happened? What? Oh, did I accidentally click it? Crap. I think I was trying to scroll and I accidentally clicked it. I didn't mean to agree with what's her face? I cannot remember her name. Why can I not remember her name? Elisa, that's it. I didn't mean to agree with Elisa. I'm gonna put my cursor on Pierce's face right now so I don't accidentally misclick. But yeah, I already know what I've got to refute. Dash, I've got to refute Dash. I know I already kind of said that, but that's sort of what I gotta do. I don't know why this is a thing I can agree with. And then Grace, please refrain from such detestable imagery. Here we go. That. Okay, did I hit it? I did it. I did click it. What a piece of evidence contradicts this statement. Good, it's right. Killmore file 1. No, that's wrong! Oh, yes! Sir! Was the testimony not to your liking? I'm afraid not, Dash. What you just said blatantly contradicts the facts. After all, the Mon Akuma file specifically states a time of death down to the minute. What? Give me a second. With a flourish, Dash pulled out his file. Ah, right you are. My apologies. I wasn't able to check the file properly because of my physical and mental state earlier. Speaking of which, could we perhaps finish the trial relatively soon? Hang in there, Dash. It'll be over before you know it. Hey, that's my line! So you're saying you don't know about you didn't know about the specific time of death because you didn't check the file properly? And then no one bothered to update you on it because it was assumed knowledge? I hate it when that happens. I have thought that a time interval would be more appropriate. 11 to 12 seemed more natural at the time. I'm getting a strange feeling of deja vu. I know, right? Hey, Mon Akuma, what's with the deal with the oddly specific time of death? Pooh, it's a secret! Which means it's important. Let's not ignore the elephant in the room any longer. We can learn a lot from the time of death. Just need to compare it with one other piece of evidence. Well, it's more like a compilation. A piece of evidence that's more like a compilation. I just thought I'll quickly interject here, as you'll soon find out the trial is routinely punctuated by make-your-choice segments. Unless otherwise stated, this means you're being prompted to pick out a piece of evidence from your entire list. Simply select the piece of evidence that's correctly addresses the situation. That's all there is to it. Over and out. Oh, okay, I've got to collect... Okay, it's this bit. I was wondering what they were talking about, but, I think he's talking about order of who arrived at the scene. I see. Yes, I was right. Good. Because that's, like, the main thing. I see. You're talking about the time that passed between Magnus's death and the discovery of the body, aren't you? No, don't say it. Of course you are. Incredible! Yes, all in all, the killer had a mere 2 minutes to flee the scene after killing the victim. A most peculiar conundrum, would you agree? In other words, the mansion people are highly suspicious. Who was on duty at that time? Let's see. I was in charge of the laboratory. Pierce and Mona had the trophy room and infirmary. Then there was Zeke, who was in the game room, and Hunt, who was tasked with searching the servants' quarters. And of course, Magnus had the decidedly fatal duty of searching the library. Wow, that's some astonishing memory. You ever consider becoming a secretary? But of course, I'm not finished. Let's see. At 11 AM, Levitica was in charge of the dining hall, while Hunt was right next door to the kitchen, with Florence watching it from the pantry. Meanwhile, Natalia searched the sitting room, with Grace right next door to the lounge, who was herself next to Pierce in the game room. Now, as for 10:30 AM... Thank you, sir. As far as serving sizes go, I do believe that was more than generous. Quite right. Now, you can't see it on Mona's floor plan, since it only covers the first floor. But the laboratory, trophy room, and infirmary are all adjacent to each other. So to preempt any baseless accusations, Pierce had a wonderful suggestion. My learned friends speak the most flattering words. Yes, whoops, I keep pressing the right mouse button accidentally. Yes, we decided to keep our doors open so that we could monitor each other. All at my behest, of course. I must say, Pierce, first the investigation, now this. You're really fond of this monitoring business, aren't you? These idiots can tell you I had nothing to hide, so you can stop looking at me. Did any of you three see anything strange or suspicious while you were searching the first floor? Anything at all? You mean other than Pierce behaving like a complete You promised not to tell anyone! Your Honor, please strike that from the record! Huh? What's going on? Sorry, I tuned out on account of how boring this whole thing is right now. The trial will be the death of me. Why? Because you're the killer? No! Are you trying to lead me into confessing? Brute. Allow me to summarize what has just happened. We just learned that Sigmund, Mona, and Pierce have alibis for their search designations. Okay, so it's not any of those three. Good, I'm glad it's not Sigmund. So from 11:30 to 12... Well... I figured it out! What if Magnus was attacked beforehand? That he died slowly over time from his injuries? There's already precedent from this last killing game with the tranquilizer darts. Surely an equally revolutionary mechanism is at play here. While I agree that at face value it seems a hidden mechanic was at play here, I do not think it affected the cause of death. Are you not inclined to agree, Florence? Well, it wouldn't make any sense, because the Mon Akuma file said that Magnus died at 11:59, and that was 2 minutes before we got to the library. Considering, I think this might actually be something I had to refute, I'm gonna probably need to refute something with, Phoenix's autopsy, because he backed up the file. Right you are! Those were some pretty considerable injuries. Indeed, dying slowly from such severe blunt force trauma? I don't think so. If you saw the state his skull was left in after the attack, you'd know he died an instant death. He died instantly?